All right, welcome to this week's episode of Tink and Tonic. First and foremost, before we move on, we gotta address the fact that this man's showing up with big face watches. You know what I'm saying? We can see it on the stream or streaming in the Facebook group. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, just give us send a message. But we cannot see it on the Instagram. So go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Show them the big face watch. Go ahead.
No. It's
No,
fine.
no,
It's
put it
not.
up, bro. Put it up. Hey, no, come on. No. We gotta see it, bro. We gotta see it. Works real well with the sweater. You know, he's in New York. Hey, there it is. There it is. Come on, dog. Hold that up. Hold that up one time. Come on, bro. There it
No.
is. Big fish. Yo, I worked with
You're a fool.
yeah, I
You're a
appreciate it.
fool.
Thank you. I worked with a guy that was his whole thing was I don't wear small face watches. I'm a big guy. I need big face watches. I said, okay, all right, do you? I don't know why that's
Yeah,
something to
people be
fight about,
choosing
but
choosing the weirdest things to stunt about. Like why you need to flex
yeah,
about a big face watch. All
yeah,
right, cool. Nothing.
it was a whole thing, man. It was a whole thing. So pretty soon we'll have a little theme music here bringing us in, but you know, now that we don't, it's Tuesday, Think and Tonic. Get your drink.
Bro. Yo, I didn't get my drink. I didn't prepare properly. I had this big ass bottle of Bombay Sapphire, and I was like, damn, we ain't got no limes, bro. I have to do it properly if I'm gonna do it. Dig.
Yeah, listen. We're getting out there, man. That no, you can't be treating the body like that, giving it harsh. All right, I could borrow some money from who?
That's my sister. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
who she won that from. It can't be me, not my black ass.
Yeah, bro, it's gotta be you. It's not me. I could borrow some cash. Okay,
We
Tuesday
struggling a
thinking
bit.
tonic. We're getting rolling.
When my stimmy hits, I'm gonna hit her up. When my stimmy hits,
Speaking of
I'm
stimulus,
balling.
we're gonna have to figure this out. But okay, cool. So today, my brother, what we wanted to chat about and bring to you is the seven baby steps. We've both used the seven, and so seven financial baby steps as popularized by the great Dave Ramsey. He is most definitely not the first, nor will he be the last to reframe that steps. This is something that was done. I think what's her name, Susie Q or Susie something, the financial lady, Susie something. Let me check. Susie Money,
Oh yeah,
Susie. You know who I'm talking about? Susie
yeah. My aunt had
Money.
all her books actually.
Yeah. So oh, there we go. Susie Orman has also talked quite extensively about this. A bunch of folks over the. It's as if there's like one or two people every couple generations that talks about something like this. So wanted to get because both of us have used those steps to one become debt free, two to get 3 to 6 months of expenses in place, and that has freed us up to move on to the next sort of. For me, it's entrepreneurship. For you, is to get out of the current of being in the Bay Area, and you can tell your own story of getting in the Bay Area and moving on to the next level, if you will. The reason we're talking about this is what I found is in my short 30 years or so is that there's a lot of folks that are very interested in getting rich quick. They're very interested in how do I make more money? How do I make more money? How do I make more money? And as a result, you know, the conversation is really never about like, how do I manage what I already have, or how do I, manage my expenses, right? How do I give myself a raise by spending less, right? So that's never really the conversation. The fun and sexy and kind of exciting conversation is how do I make more money? How do I make more money? How do I make more money? So as a result, we kind of end up in these situations where we're in quick get rich quick schemes, right? Different multi level marketing schemes, different, and I can list mine. I've tested quite a few of them, um, and I'm more than happy to list them. But that's what we're talking about today: this baby steps. Um, Money baby steps and why nobody wants to get rich slow.
slowly.
Go
Shit.
ahead, brother.
Yeah. I mean, no, I was gonna say, yeah, you're right. I'm in the slow part of the process, bro. We're gonna have to like draw it out. Get rich slow. You know,
Slow.
slow. Yeah, bro. Definitely the baby steps are something that I think changed my life a bit, or at least opened my eyes. You know, I think it's the foundations of like of a personal finance for sure. I've seen people remix them, use different parts, but I think the general premise remains the same. You gotta pay off your debt, manage the money you do have, and then you can get into these get rich quick schemes because you know you're shit organized.
Or Scoot, reverse back, bro. Tell your story. How did you go about it? How did you get started? What was the process? What did you struggle with? What were some things you came up against? Where start there? Where did you start?
So I'll
Where
give
were
you
you
this.
before you started?
So so when I was living in Trinidad, I had a lot of debt from when I went to school in the States. And I mean, you can pay it off, and I was nice enough to have a parent that was helping me out, but the exchange rate was just making it really hard. And I think it was you, the first person I talked to, and you were telling me how you went about it, and like your path through the baby steps. You're just about to like hit debt free, and I was like, you know what? Let me look it up. I bought the Dave Ramsey book, and I listed out all my debt from like biggest the like the largest to the smallest, like who did I owe anybody? If I owe somebody like $200 to $100, anything that was on my mind, I made sure and like list it out. And yeah, then I moved to these two United States and started just attacking my debt, um, really strongly from, I didn't take any more loans, no credit cards, just through foundations, like paid for a car in cash, dropped my expenses as low as I possibly could, from food to housing. And it's a real it's real painful. I remember because I've had a car since I was 17, and when I moved back to the States, I didn't have a car, and I used to borrow my aunt and uncle's car, Uber, or get a lift or get dropped off. And I had like 19 and 18-year-olds in Vacaville laughing at me, telling me, why don't I just take a loan and get a car? And it was hard, bro, because you're a big man getting dropped off and shit instead of getting dropped off by your aunt or like your friend instead of like just whipping around the place. I don't think I've ever been so thankful to have my own car when I did buy it. But yeah, baby steps, bro. That's where it starts. So you can tell your own story from there.
Sounds like you started with a debt snowball. I do remember that original conversation we had. Started off with the debt snowball and worked your way up there. Question I have for you is how did that car process go of getting that car the after you had left Trinidad? How did the car process go of purchasing a car? I think this is where a lot of folks, especially our age and below, really get caught up.
Um, This was long, dude. I mean, one, you have to like, budget, and clearly, like, if you pay in cash, you can't budget, and like, you're not gonna get a Lexus, or you're not gonna get a brand new car. And everybody like wants to get the car payments, get the hottest whip, and it was really about like sitting down and thinking what's gonna go the longest and need the least amount of fixing. And I think I looked for like maybe a month or two for the perfect car, and I ended up with a Honda Civic, the most stolen car in California, to be fair, a Honda. But it doesn't go wrong, bro. And I think I came crying to you several times. I was like, bro, I can't take this shit no more. I'm about to, I was like, I'll put a down payment, and I'll finance the rest. And you're just like, like every time you'd be like, nah, bro, that's not the baby steps. That's not the baby steps. Take your time. Just go through it. Like, paying fit cash was the perfect move because when I eventually left California to New York, I was able to sell it for cash quickly without any paperwork, without any like hassle, So that was great to own my own car outright.
So what I wanted Elliot to highlight here is It is all of the things that really get us super tied up, that got me super tied up, is all things that are fairly normal, right? Just everybody gets a loan to
Mm.
go get a car. So my man hits me up. He's like, "Yo, I think I'm just gonna get a loan, da 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 da, and then get this car. I need this car." And I'm searching in my head, what is the calmest, nicest way I can tell my man that that is the worst idea ever? Don't do it. Please don't do it. And I say this because, I got out of college and my parents didn't know better. And so, they were doing the best that they could for me. So they helped me out. Go to the car dealership. I remember the day I picked up my white Honda and signed the loan. And it's funny because that process is like a pressure cooker, right? The same way you go about that process is the same way you go about like a timeshare presentation. So we were pretty much like, they would not let you leave the lot. They had a little financing office in the back. So you walk in, they show you all the cars, and they show you the cars you can't afford. Then they show you the cars you have no business even trying to afford. And then at that point, your heart is hooked. Your heart is hooked. I saw that white Honda. I said, "What's up?" All right, and it wasn't even that crazy. It's just a Honda Accord. Um, and they were like, "Listen, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way to get you approved." Like, as if the problem was the approval, not the fact that I did not have enough money to have that car. That was not the discussion. It was as if, like, I remember the guy that sold us to. His name was Peter, and Peter. Even towards like halfway through the process, I think Peter felt a little bit of guilt on his consciousness too. Because he turned, he's like, "Man, that's a lot of car, man. Y'all, you sure you want that car?" And at that point, I was hooked. I wasn't get, I was you couldn't tell me anything else, right? So I was like, "Yep. How are we gonna afford it? How are we gonna make it happen? How are we
How
gonna
much
get
was the
approved?"
car, bro? How much was the car? How
Car
much is a
probably
brand new
ended up
Honda
being somewhere
Accord?
around, everything said and done, just short of like, I'll say like maybe 18,000, somewhere in there, somewhere in there. When it was all said and done. I don't really remember, to be honest. But I would guess it was short of 20 for sure. But it was I wanted to spend like 10, less than 10. And I was walking out of there having doubled. So let's call it 18 for this purposes. Um, but they weren't about to let you out of there until you got 25.
Yeah, I know people spend 30K and they always justify it because, well, I'm getting this new job and it requires me to drive a lot. So I need this new car that, I don't
That's
have any money
exactly
right
what it
now. I've
is.
been struggling and it's my first job. And but it's zero down, so I'm gonna get it, and they'll get like the nicest car. I was like, as what's he saying? As you drive it off, it loses like most of its value. Like it
Yeah,
just doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
that's more than a saying. That's a fact. You drive it
Oh,
right
yeah.
off the lot, you
Alicia,
drop at least 40% minimum, minimum.
exactly.
And what you said, I don't want to step over because that's key, right? I had just gotten a new job. I see 25K. I hope that's not what you spend on your car. God bless you. Uh, but
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure. Yo, Alicia Diablo, she's been pause. I need to highlight Alicia. Since I've met Alicia in like college, like freshman year, she been good with money. Like I remember reading a book about prodigious accumulators of wealth, and she was the first person that came to mind. She always been good with money, bro. She was always cashing in and like side hustling and spending money wisely. Respect her. She's high up on my list of people I see that good with money and make good financial decisions. Sorry, I just have to highlight that.
fantastic, fantastic. Shout out
Mm.
AD. um, So there, yeah, you get that new job, whether you're out of college, coming out of college, you get that new job, and like the feeling, the like the expectation, the like what is normal, the like what everyone does is pretty much. And I remember telling my dad that I was like, yeah, this is like kind of expensive. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this off. He was like, yeah, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's
Just
America.
work.
That's what people do. Literally, my man Chad was like, it's America. You always, you know, people get loans. That's what you do. So I was like, all right, cool, yeah. And my gut was telling me this is weird. This is not good. This is not. But as soon as I got the stamp of approval from the people in my life, I want to highlight that. As soon as I got the stamp of approval from the people in my life, my parents, friends, like whatever, like it was just like, oh yeah, man, oh that's a great car. Nobody says how much did you spend on that, bro? You in debt forever. Like nobody said that. Everybody was just like, that's a nice car, man. You know, so all of a sudden you feel, because it's
Roll
important
into
to highlight
yourself,
the
bro.
emotions. I didn't hear what you said.
No, it says a roll in, like it's like an anchor, like you know those chains, like a ball and chain. It's like a roll in ball and chain. Like that's all that is. That's all the car is. Just rolling
Mm.
around with like a balloon payment. Like it's just always anchor.
And I think what's important is to highlight the emotions around the money, right? The emotions around, because that's really what it is. If you can get my friend Chris, who's that's what he is, because calls himself a financial therapist, a financial advisor, etc. One thing he says that I definitely resonates with me, like if you can check your emotions, that's the first step to getting better with money, is to check your emotions. I look at it, I'm like, why does everyone do that? Because when you walk off that lot, the respect, the automatic respect you get, the automatic love and praise and adoration, this is the same thing that comes with like getting certain types of like corporate jobs. All of a sudden, you're like legitimate, right? All of a sudden, you're like, man, that guy, you see that guy right there driving that Audi, man, he going into the office with the tie and everything, looking great. But all this stuff is the stuff that's keeping us bound and constrained.
I You're right, bro. Because I remember when I was getting the car too, it was like an old ass Honda Civic. Everybody was like, I had a friend, he was telling me like, you know, maybe you can buy a BMW, like an old BMW, and you know, like with everything going on in America, a little black boy shouldn't be driving like an old car. You know, like they might think wrong of
Like, what
you.
does
And I
that
was
even
just like,
mean?
bro, like I really, I don't even care like what they think. I was like, I'm watching my money. You know, like I can't afford anything else. Like, yeah, okay, I get BMW, but what about the upkeep? BMW parts is still fucking expensive. Like, you know, like if I hit this
Very,
car, I'm like, what the fuck?
very. And it's crazy, man. I think, as we were talking, that the piece that's really sticking out and ringing true to me the most is really the societal, the way that society like imposes certain things on you, right? Imposes like if you're not careful, if you don't have a plan for yourself, if you don't have goals for yourself, they gonna fill that in. Society gonna fill that in. Society gonna tell you you should have a BMW. If you look at if you successful, why don't you have a nicer car? If you're successful, why aren't you dressing better? If you're successful, why aren't you wearing a tie and going to the office, or why isn't your name plastered everywhere, right? Man, because bro, I ask you this: where else? Like, actually, let's elaborate on that a little bit. I'm curious, where have you felt that?
I mean, I was gonna before we go there, I was gonna say the best thing you said was that society imposes on you, and like I mean, we're talking about society, but we can even like draw in much closer. Like your family imposes on you, your friends impose on you. Because I mean, I remember like having this plan when I came here, and the people that made it the hardest were like my aunt and uncle, who were just like, just finance a car. Like, why are you being so difficult? Just finance a car, get a car. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Get debt, like, get something good, get a Subaru. You know, like when I start talking about like, no, I want to pay it cash. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Like, you can get something nice, easy. Like, I know car salesmen that could help you out, and I mean, again, if you're not careful or you know self-educated or you know this is not no thing to the people around you, but you know if you don't know what you're doing, like you're gonna end up in shit listening to people. You know, like that's just facts. Yeah.
Absolute facts, man. Absolute facts, and don't assume, man. I think we may have bit off a lot more than we could chew today because like this topic deserves a couple episodes. And this topic deserves a couple episodes because the what you just hit on right there is so key, bro. Like you have your parents are telling you things, your grandparents are telling you things, your friends are telling you things, TV's telling you things, magazines are telling you things, everybody is telling you things, right? As to how these things should work and operate. The words that stuck out to me when you were talking, bro, is like, oh, it's easy, right? Easy to finance, easy to put those things in. It's what everybody does, right? It's what everybody does. It's easy to do, and it's what everybody does. You could get something nicer, right? Consumerism, commercialism, etc. Like why are you being difficult, right? Why are you being difficult? So to reset a little bit here again, we're talking about getting rich slowly, getting rich slowly. And why is it that society can, why, or period, why is it that nobody wants to get rich slowly? Why are we all like quick to
I
do
mean,
these things? Go ahead,
I'll,
bro.
I'll also take a step back. I think it's just about financial foundations because I ain't rich yet, so I don't know if I'm getting rich slowly. I mean, I hope so, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think I'm financially it's allowed me to make certain moves and not have a fire up my ass by having like my foundation because I don't have like the pressure of debt holding me back. I don't have the pressure of car payments or like credit card fees and all these things. And I have a cushion to like live off of for a couple months and shit, that's no pressure at all, bro. That's almost just self pressure after that point. And we always, they talk about like people not be able to make proper moves in life, and that's because financial constraint causes pressure, it causes stress, it causes you can make terrible decisions to a certain extent because you're under so much pressure. And this is a way to like lighten your stress. If the people around you that you consider close like have done these things, then and you don't feel as bad because I remember my mom also went through these baby steps, and that was like a severe like weight off my shoulder because part of my life was I have to make sure my mom's taken care of and that she could live after like retirement or whatever. Not that she was in a bad situation, but seeing that she's like okay and comfortable, there's less pressure on me to do certain things, and it lets you do what you want instead of what you have to slash need to.
So what I hear, bro, is let's take out the word rich. Let's not complicate it. And to me, rich is whatever you define it to be. It's arbitrary, right? It's whatever you define it to be. So I'm not here to define whatever you believe rich is. You being anybody that's hearing this. But I think the thing to highlight is lifestyle. What is your lifestyle? How many people have I met who? How many bosses have I had? Right? Who's like, I can't lose this job. Why? Because if I lose this job, I won't be able to sustain my lifestyle. To me, that's prison. All right. To me, that's prison. So, yeah, no, I mean, if I can't, first and foremost, to me, is like, why do you work? What is the purpose of work? And these are questions that I ask myself. What is the purpose of work? And I think that's something that every individual at some point is gotta work and stuff. So I see a lot of attorneys, a lot of doctors who, quite frankly, have golden handcuffs. Right? They took on this massive debt to go through an indoctrination system. Please don't hit me. That's just how I feel. To go through an indoctrination system to be able to earn large income, but they've spent most, if not a large portion of their life, giving that money back to the system. You don't have an option to bounce out. Like you don't have an option to simply say, you know what, today my family needs me to do X. No, you got to go to the office and you better answer that email. You better answer that email. So I think, yeah, that's what it is. I see the word debt slave, and I think that's, obviously that triggers a lot of folks. But I think for me at least, in my family, what I've decided is kind of like, if what I'm doing doesn't afford me, doesn't allow me to live the type of lifestyle that I want to live, I need to rethink this. And I don't mean immediately, right? Maybe it's something that I need to go ahead and sacrifice for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But I was on track to being an attorney, right? I was on track to be an attorney. I was going to law school, doing all this stuff. Why? Because everybody painted this picture of what I should be doing, right? And I kind of took that on because at that time I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I had no idea. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Everybody sees me as an attorney. Might as well go do that. But when I really thought about it, I was like, wait, I don't have anybody in my circle or in my family or anywhere around me that's going to pay my debt when I take it on. Almost what? I know people that have 200,
200.
300, 400, 500,000. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
500,000.
I got you, Darren. By the way. Yeah.
500,000. I'm like, wait a second. This don't make any sense. How on earth are you ever going to live that lifestyle?
Shit. That's the exact trigger for
200.
law school. Damn.
Wait a second. I see 238,543. Okay, first of all, you're clearly well aware, Elizabeth. Like you clearly know what's up. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
I mean, that's just law school because I think med school and stuff are like what, half a mil? Half a mil
Well,
for
that's
med school.
also oh yeah, bro. Way to point that out. Way to point that out. I mean, it gets up there. It really gets it really gets up there, man.
Damn.
My question is why? That's kind of the question I want to put out there. Why? Why? Why?
Imagery, bro. Imagery, because that's the imagery that society tells you. Lawyers make a lot of money and get to drive BMWs and have big houses. And, that's why people do it. It's as you said, prepackaged prestige. Like they're paid to
Free
be
package
smart, they're
prestige.
paid to be rich, they're paid to be like well off. And the truth is that what, 3/4 of their salaries are going to, like, I mean, let's say a quarter of their salary for a good decade is going off to paying this loan. And then they're like spending what, 6, 7 days a week working nonstop from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. They don't even get to spend that money. I think the kids spending money. You're working for generation. You ain't even gonna get to sell it like that. That's what's up.
If you're lucky, you're working for generations, right? If you're lucky. Holy
Yeah, because they
cow.
have bad lawyers. So that really only counts if you go to what, the top 10 law
The
schools,
top,
top 5 law
the top,
schools.
top,
Like after that, you're screwed. You're screwed,
the
kid.
top, top. If you don't go to the top, top, you, yeah, good luck. And what I want to draw a connection here, rather not to let me know if there's any more you want to say on this, but I want to draw the connection to health on this.
No.
Okay. Let's draw the connection to health because what we're talking about here with money here is what we're told should, all the shoulds, all right? You should do this. It's normal. What is normal? What is should? What is everyone doing? What is, stop being weird, all right? Stop being difficult by taking a different path that you see is better for you. For God forbid, you see a better path for yourself, right? And yet the reverse is exactly true in that all of those things is actually what gets us into a lifestyle that feels handcuffed. So then what happens when you're in a lifestyle that feels handcuffed, where you're going to an office for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, or you're at your desk 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, or you don't even have time to work out because you got to work and make money and pay that debt back, or you don't have time to go outside to get some vitamin D from nature's top doctor, the sun, or get some fresh air and breathe, or you can't eat well
Or
because you
cook.
got to rush from one thing. You can't cook. right? You got to rush, you got to buy things all the time, spend more money. You got to go from one thing to the next. So not even 10 hours, talking 16 hours,
Fast food.
goodness, fast food, right? So you end up this pursuit of what should be true and what you should have and what lifestyle you should be living and how you should be doing actually leads you to a severe decline in your health and life, because health is really lifestyle. Health is how you live. Yeah, you go to the gym and do all that stuff, but like ultimately it's the consistency of how you live. This is what confuses me. It's like, why? And why aren't our parents like, I know parents want the best. I'm not a parent yet, but like, why aren't our parents like putting us on game? Like, yeah, listen, what I did, don't do that. That don't do that. That like
Yeah.
none of that makes any sense.
I would say good point. There's no ideal life or success. There's just your life and your success. I mean, the biggest thing, like as we talked about Dave Ramsey, as we started, definitely get this book. I mean, a lot of people think he's obnoxious, but the facts are facts, and the baby steps work. But
They're not
yeah,
his,
I was gonna say
by the
like
way.
the yeah, exactly. The ideal situation doesn't work, and Dave Ramsey always says like to live properly is to be a contrarian. You know, like at the end of the day, you're gonna have to be going. You have to be going against the grain. And that's really, I mean, if 99% of the people are going one way, you're only gonna get what 99% of the people have. You know, that whole 1%,
Normal.
you have to turn around the ideas in the other direction. Like, yeah, and to hit on a point that Elizabeth said earlier, she talked about like credit was very important to the United States, and I think she's 100% correct. But I also think there's like a healthy or nice way. I wouldn't say nice way. There's a reasonable way to build that credit because yes, you need it. You could live on the extremes, you can live in the middle, but definitely a car or a house or student loans aren't the only way to build credit. Like, they're healthy options.
Understand that uh, everybody says you need good credit, but nobody ever tells you exactly why
Why? Oh, what credit is made of? I know so
or
many
what
people
credit is made of.
talk about the need for good credit without understanding what the fuck credit is. Like credit is just how good you are at borrowing. That's it. Like that's it. How good you are with the bank money. Um, has its uses, but definitely understanding what goes up to creating good credit, like what it's made of or how it's judged, I think changes the whole understanding of whether you need good credit or not.
I think that's huge, man. Credit is for borrowing. That's all it is. If you never borrow, do you ever need credit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And this is again going back to the health piece of it, man. Is not only does this way of thinking force you into a lifestyle that's extremely detrimental to our health, but it's like a snake kind of eating its tail. It like feeds it and spot right.
Ouroboros.
An Ouroboros. I
Yeah,
don't know what that
the
is, bro.
snake
Please
eaters.
explain.
Yeah, that's that's exactly what you said. It's the image of a snake eating its tail. It's called an Ouroboros.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Learn something new every day. Um,
comics.
I never, yeah, I never read comics as a kid, man. I appreciate that for sure. And I'll
Yeah,
say this, man. I think really it's important for. I always say this. Money is simply just an indication of where energy is flowing. Because in the beginning, we didn't use money, right? We didn't use money at all. It really was about your energy, and what I mean by that, it's about who you've been, your reputation, and the type of individual that you are, right? Because if I know from X, Y, and Z that you're a terrible person, I'm probably not going to barter or do business with you, right? But if I know from your family's reputation, from how you do, the Lannisters always pay their debt type of situation, like you've got a strong track record of that's energy, right? That money becomes secondary to that. And when you have every time you have primary and secondary, and you utilize the secondary to control the primary, you can play games that aren't exactly indicative of what the primary is. So what I mean, let's put it back in the money terms, right? If you have an asset like a house, and then you have like loans that are sold off in the secondary markets and whatnot. Individuals playing with the loans and mortgages in the secondary market, third market, or how many ever markets they are, have nothing to do with the actual production of the substance that backs up all this activity.
You've gone too far, bro. I'm gonna have to come back.
All right, come back then.
No. You made perfect sense. That's not why I said that, to be fair. But I just realized that we're going far down the syllabus. You know, like when you're in grade 3 and
Oh yeah,
you're
oh
teaching
fair enough.
people, you're teaching people like grade 6. You know, like yeah, you might have to come back, bro. First, just understanding. I mean, paying off your debt, the benefits of that. What's the baby steps? Debt snowball. Um, Damn, I forgot them level by level, but yeah, that's
Oh, just look it up, Google it. Google it. But I think you're right, man. For this one right here, let's leave it right there. Um, I'm curious if anybody's on this who's actually struggling with that and trying to really figure out what's going on. Um, Go ahead and shoot us a message. I would love to know and to provide any sort of help that we both can. I mean, pass on the knowledge. It doesn't always have to be with well, can we go into this? That most quote unquote financial advisors are just salespeople? Is that too far?
yeah, really. Nah, you're right, bro. They're just trying to
Is
do
that
their
is
money.
that too far?
Half of them don't even understand sales or insurance. That's they're trying
Yeah.
to sell
All
you
right, so it's
insurance
not
or
too far.
trying to sell you anything. They don't understand what the fuck they're doing.
Half, yeah, okay, fair enough. So it's not too far. Yeah, I really want to put this out there that you really want to. Unfortunately, what I have found for myself, and bro, you can speak to this after this. What I found for myself is that most quote unquote advisors, financial advisors, are really glorified life insurance, most likely salespeople or financial instruments that you really don't understand, or I don't understand, or even are even as valuable as they say they are. Very few people are out there helping individuals that have like a net worth less of like, let's say, 1 million, just for a mark. Like, because why? The individual doesn't tend into that type of client does not make those individuals money at all. So if they spend a lot of time with you teaching you this stuff, they're not going to make that much money. They'd just rather just go work with a high net worth individual, sell them some financial instruments, and make some money. Where you can learn these fundamental bottom line steps, man, is by individuals like Dave Ramsey who are putting this stuff out there. So if you take nothing else from this, pick up that book, Total Money Makeover, and compare and see like, where are you? What's missing? And I know he has a network of folks that are out that will help small net worth individuals. I also have a friend who works specifically with small net worth individuals. So if you would like to talk to that individual, feel free to message me. But just be careful, right? Not everybody out here is really trying to help you out. I don't, maybe they are trying to help you out, but they're also trying to help themselves out and feed their family. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just what's happening.
I will say this though. The money makeover is good, but it's also difficult outside the US. It's definitely like the baby steps are, like it might be hard to apply some things outside the US. Because I will say there's no way, I don't really think there's a way for me to get a car in Trinidad and Tobago without taking on a loan. Like just the cost is too high, like the exchange rate. So there are some changes you have to make depending on where you live, but for the most part, avoid it where you can, you know, buy buy something used that you don't have to pay off in like 20 years or whatever, 15 years, etc. I don't know. I can't remember what it is, but definitely don't go brand new definitely get something used. Definitely like see who you can buy a car from and work your way up. But generally same.
I think that's a good point. Hmm.
Yeah, bro.
I've never bought a car in another country, so I can't even really speak to that.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, bro. Because I mean, car. I mean the worth of the car is the same in Trinidad, but the exchange rate differs. So you have to multiply that by like seven. You know,
Mm.
that becomes an even larger financial burden. If you really think
That's
about it.
real. That's real. That again, going off track a little bit, but I think that speaks to an even bigger issue of like, what do you really need, right? We're looking at these things that are being imported. If the car was built in Trinidad, would you really, would it cost what it costs, for example,
Oh
or
yeah,
like,
man.
or would you, or is
Sorry.
that the best form of transportation to be using? You know what I mean? Like, I think just like health, in a lot of ways, I think what seems extreme is only that way because of the environment that we were born into. Like we were literally like I'm 30 years old. I literally don't have experience beyond, you know, before 30, right? Before the 30 years that have passed. So like, is it that weird to not have a car? Is it that weird to ride your bike until you can buy a car? Like, yeah, it's weird to us now, but like, bro, that wasn't that weird 30 years ago. It wasn't that not
Because
everybody had a car. Not everybody needed to have a car. Like that wasn't a thing, And I think that kind of goes to the commercialism piece of it and the marketing piece of it. It's like you living in Ghana trying to live like somebody in California makes no sense. Or
yeah, that's a whole different ballgame, bro. That's cultural hegemony and impose, like of the American system imposing shit on people. But we don't even go there today. It's a whole
not
different
today.
ballgame.
Not today. If you are involved in
Yeah.
or have questions about like any like prepaid legal, Amway, or any other of these like programs or situations that are making really big promises, and you have some questions and you want to ask somebody, Trinidad is not Amsterdam's. Cars are required. Okay, got it. And you are, can you use a horse? That'd be my question. I'm just pushing back on like what
Dude,
is like
don't get.
required. What is absolutely needed? I don't know, man. I don't really. And looking at it for, let me go from health once more time. One small. We're told we need a lot of things we don't need. We don't need them. That's the truth. We
Yeah,
don't want them, but we don't. Right?
but don't eat debate. He's being extreme on purpose. There's a balance,
I'm
yes.
not being I'm not being extreme on purpose. I'm just saying like, let's consider that for a second. Like, is it such fact? Just straight up fact? I don't know, man. I have
Yeah,
found I live in situations where that I've been told it's straight facts, and it's just not the case.
fair enough. There's a lot that you don't need. That is very true. I won't debate the necessity of cars or no cars in Trinidad. It's a strong line. I've always had
It's
a
a
car, so
strong.
I can't really like talk about how it is not having a car, but I can say it's really difficult for in Trinidad. There's no
Hey, bro,
subway,
you looking
there's
good,
no
bro.
Uber, there's no really good taxi system. It's like there's a lot of crime. Like, I used to be like really nervous anytime like my female friends like told me they're gonna like travel anywhere. Like I'd go out of my way to give them a ride just because it's like, it's hard, bro. Getting in these cars with like strange men always watching where you jumping off. Like I had friends used to have to get out at a house that's not their house just because people
Mm.
are like paying attention to where the really attractive girl is getting off, or where she's going and living. And like, so I will say it's difficult. It's a weird line. Like it's really hard to navigate. I
Yeah,
think to pick a
yeah.
strong stance.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm just curious. How was life like 50 years ago?
No, we're not 50
Just
years
just
ago, bro.
curious. I'm just curious.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to know, like, what was it like? What did people do? Right? We can't imagine life with no internet right now, right? But bro, the internet has only
I
been
mean,
around for like what, 20, like 25 or 30 years, right? It hasn't been along that long. But now we cannot do without at all. Like the concept is bizarre.
dude, Google on my phone took my life to a whole new level. Like I used to hate not knowing stuff. I Google everything constantly all day, bro. I can't imagine life without Google in my pocket. Real talk. Made me so much smarter.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And that's why Google can wield the amount of power that it wields. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
it's,
that's what Google can do now as a result. But yeah, man, that's
have you heard about like how they're fighting the government in Australia? I was just gonna talk about that, but anyway.
no, not yet. But maybe we save that for next time as we're running out of time here. Not running out of time, but we're winding down on Tuesday, Tink and Tonic. Um, Appreciate you guys for stepping by for more of a laid back discussion on what is money, what do we need, how does it relate to our health, how do we get rich, 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 whatever your definition of rich is. I'd say, man, lifestyle first. I was listening to this podcast. I'll leave you with this. I was listening to this podcast, and this dude that's made tons of money in real estate, etc. And he said the only thing that he would have done differently is he would have led with lifestyle first in everything that he did. He's like, do
Mm,
you still believe you would have made money? Yeah, I still believe I would have made money if I would have designed my lifestyle first and allowed the money to come. So I just thought that was super interesting that he would say that after having gone through the journey. I mean, we're looking at it, he's probably holding like a cool 1,500 pieces of 1,500 doors, right? Pieces of property, or some of them are apartments, etc. So I just thought that was really interesting as he would lead with lifestyle first, because I think we lead with lifestyle first, we realize that maybe we don't need a lot of the stuff that's causing us to feel constrained in life and causing us to run on the hamster wheel and causing us to like just not live the life that we want to live. And if we can cut down on that, just like if you cut down on your expenses, guess what? You don't need to make $1 million to have a great lifestyle, right? If you can cut down on your expenses, you kind of feel like you've got a raise. Not you kind of, you have, because you have more money accessible to you. And I just think that point is not pushed as much as the point of like work harder to get more.
facts, facts. I say that's the only thing I like about Trinidad. Most people have a cutoff point. Like they don't work past 5, 6, bro. They don't need
Well, that's lazy.
to.
Gosh,
Yeah, they're like,
those islanders
yeah,
are so
nah.
lazy.
I mean, foreigners think they do, but that's the greatest lie they told me, bro. That's the greatest lie I ever heard.
Greatest.
That I had
Yo,
to, I
repeat
had to
that.
leave Trinidad to make it. Like
Mm.
greatest lie they ever told you. You have to leave Trinidad to make it. Yeah, some of those people haven't figured out, bro. Why would I not stay and live in great weather and just party and have fun?
Because what's really interesting, my brother, is when those folks with the ties and whatnot decide to go take a rest to rejuvenate to Grenada, guess where they go?
Yeah.
Places they tricked us wasn't good. Come on now, doesn't that like, to me that's wait, hold on. So you have the best times of your life, like you take vacation, the best times of your life is spent in the place that you told me was what? I mean, come on, man. We got to think about this a little bit. And read. I'll leave you with this. We'll leave you with this. Elliot, will you hold up that book one more time? Total Money Makeover. Uh, Definitely grab that book. That's what led to both of us getting out of debt, 3 months of expenses, and getting on our way to lay the foundation so that we can have some breathing room. And then also read The Fisherman and the Businessman. It's a short parable. I call it a parable. It might not be. I don't know. but it's a short story that really kind of really addresses what we're talking about today. The fisherman and the businessman. The fisherman and the businessman. You can just Google it and find it. But I think that piece right there is fantastic. It takes you like 1 minute to read it. Anything before we roll out on Tuesday, Tink and Tonic, bro? Close this out, bro.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna close you out with that. Make sure and get your gin and tonics ready for next week, because I've been doing this for too long without a drink in my hand. So this makes
I
sense
will
to
have
me.
some juice ready to go. Some delicious juice ready to go.
So I'm gonna send you some gin. You can get fresh squeezed orange juice and put some gin in it. Like,
My man's like, we have to maintain the integrity. We have to maintain the integrity of the show and the title, man. Fair enough. Hey, listen, if you're in the audience, I guess you heard what the man said. You do what you got to do.
All right, guys. Later. Thanks for stopping by.
See you next week, Tuesday at 5 on the West, 8 on the East. And hit us up if you've got some topics you'd like to discuss. You already know. Have a great one. Bye.